Good morning, everyone. Jared Gatsby, your local real estate superhero here again, starting our days off. Happy Fridays. My hair looks like crap, but that's okay. So, every day, I mentioned in the last few that I start my days off by writing down gratitudes. And so I figured, it'd be kind of a fun thing, really quick thing that I can do is just share them with everyone else. Because, I don't know, I like being able to do something that I feel like has a positive impact. And even if some of my gratitudes are kind of dumb, I think that they're really cool to be able to share. Man, I actually am very happy with how frequently people are actually commenting on these and giving me what they're grateful for. So anyone watching this, please let me know some of the stuff that you're grateful for. Even if you don't finish the video and you just got to the first minute, let me know, because I'm getting a really big kick out of some of the really cool things people are grateful for, and I'm getting a really cool kick out of some of the silly things that people are grateful for. So that's this in a nutshell. I usually do these in the morning, and yeah, I don't always upload them immediately. I don't always record them immediately, but I do try to write down my affirmations and my gratitudes, my journaling, all of that early in the morning, because it's a good way to start the day. And so if I can help it, I'm going to also try to upload these by morning, or at least by lunch, so that way you guys have a chance to see it too. So just starting off, I put, for my number one thing that I'm grateful for is drive-in theaters. And the reason why I put that is because the last couple days my mom reached out, and I've kind of mentioned my mom a lot in the last few videos just because she's been going through a lot. And so she wanted to get out of the house and go do something that would be kind of fun. So drive-in theaters have been popping up a lot more lately, mainly because regular theaters obviously can't be in operation right now, but drive-in theaters are the perfect kind of environment for implementing social distancing. So now they're getting their resurgence, which is awesome because I love drive-in theaters. Haven't been to a drive-in theater since I was a little kid, but I remember them being just phenomenal. And for a bunch of different reasons. The drive-in theater that I went to had like a playground there, so even whenever it was movies that I didn't really like, it was always fun because there was stuff that you could be doing. It was like a movie theater, but you didn't have to be quite as quiet. You did have to be respectful, but you could make jokes, you can laugh, you can talk. And it was fun, even the small stupid things, like whenever I was a kid and you used to hide because you're this tiny little, mini human. And so your parents would like stuff you in the back seat or like the trunk for a little bit, just that way they didn't have to pay a little bit extra for you to get in. And they just shovel blankets on top of you, all that stuff. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, yesterday, my parents actually decided to go to a drive-in theater. There's not a whole lot of them that are close to my parents, and my parents live, a good 3, maybe 4 hours away, depending on what time of day and how traffic's doing. And they actually chose one that was relatively close to my house, about 30 minutes away. And so my wife and I agreed that we would go, and thankfully, sunset's really late right now, and so I was able to still get a lot of my work in, and then we met them there about 8 o'clock. And so got home around, 1 o'clock or so, wrapped up some stuff, and was able to get in bed by 1:30. And so I count that as a huge win, and it was really fun. And we got to watch the Goonies, we got to watch the Gremlins, and it was, it was really fun. And honestly speaking, as much as I love the Goonies, I really had more fun just with the experience than with even watching the movies at all. And so, I don't know, I got a huge kick out of it. So that's number one. Number two is, and this is going into Happy Fridays, but I have a deal that's wrapping up, should be getting funded today and should be closing either today, but we're ideally going to be handing keys over and giving possession of the home on Sunday, which is phenomenal. And it's exciting because this is one of my most straightforward deals that I've had. And I've been dealing with a lot of really complicated ones, which I talked about in one of my last gratitudes, that I really enjoy being able to, help with these really complex deals and just problem solve the crap out of them. I really love it whenever I have the ability to figure out answers and solve problems and just get everything wrapped up with a neat little bow and say, hey, that complicated situation you were dealing with, here you go, it's solved for you. And it makes me feel really good because it shows that I have an impact on people's lives. That being said, I also had another video where I said that you have to enjoy the little things a lot. And this is one of them, where there was only one really big issue that happened with this entire deal. And it was something that we were all able to deal with and tackle together. And so beyond that, the entire deal was straightforward as it could possibly be. And so I can't be more grateful for that. I can't be more appreciative for that. And so we're doing our final walkthrough today. going over, and I cannot imagine a single thing going wrong. And so that's it in a nutshell. I really do appreciate the really complex, complicated deals, but I'll get into a little bit of that coming up soon too. But you gotta love just the really easy, straightforward deals as well, because you really just get to revel in all of the work that everyone's put in beforehand. Because I love putting in the effort and I love putting in the work, but I also love seeing all of the work that some people put in before I even get there, because some people really just go above and beyond. And so more power to them, and more power to anyone who's doing stuff like that. So that's number two. Number two is awesome. Love number two. Number three is the only thing that's going to make me seem even moderately masculine, because anyone who knows me knows that I am your local real estate superhero. I'm a nerd, as much as a nerd could possibly exist. I'm pretty nerdy. I'm shy of Star Trek, because I'm on the side of Star Wars. I mean, I'm pretty freaking nerdy, as much as all things can be said and done. I chose my first profession in a sense of, science, and I love comic books, hence the name. I love manga and anime. I mean, I feel like if people look at me, they can tell that I'm kind of nerdy. I feel like it's not really like a big shocker, like, oh, Jared's like that. But one thing that I do really enjoy, because I don't enjoy sports all that much, is the UFC. I enjoy boxing as well, but UFC steals my heart more often than not. Boxing can do it too. But just basically MMA in general, really, it's one of those things where I don't know why it's had such a big impact on me, but I really enjoy it. And there's a new fighter that's recently had his kind of UFC debut. I'm going to butcher the name really badly because he is new, but it is Khamzat Chimaev. I'm pronouncing that horribly, but he's this new up-and-comer guy who, basically, in a nutshell, fought twice in 10 days. It was once, won, and then went 10 days later with another solid victory, which was, phenomenal, and that's great. And, that's not normal. But I seem to recall back before I ever started watching UFC that long ago, there actually would be situations where people would fight twice in one night. So it's not like the biggest deal in the world that 10 days later this guy's fighting again. But two things really draw attention to it. One is the fact that both of them were first round wins with TKOs, mind you, and in one of the bouts, he never got hit, like, at all. So that alone is just incredible. This guy who's, like, not necessarily a new fighter, but he's new to the UFC, is able to just go out there and dominate this entire, like, circuit with no difficulty at all, and just goes over and just shows people, like, hey, this is who I am. But the other thing that makes it phenomenal and really weird, and this is where it differs from, the idea of fighting twice in one night versus twice in 10 days, is he had a completely different weight class in the 10 days. And he went down in weight too. And so I'm not big on actually fighting because, the nerd thing that I talked about. But I do enjoy watching the fight mentality that goes behind it. There's a lot of thought, there's a lot of practice, and there's a lot of talent that's involved. And it's really cool because whenever I first started watching stuff like this, it was with people that wanted to watch it and I didn't. And I didn't really care. And then I watched some people going over kind of the psychology behind some of the fighters. And it really dawned on me after watching stuff like that there's a lot more that goes into it than just going into an area and then swinging violently and hoping that you walk out okay. And that's what's cool about this, is this guy, 10 days gap between 1 and 2. Fight 1, fight 2, 10-day gap. He actually drops weight, which if you ever want to go into a different weight class aggressively, the idea is you just eat a lot of food, and that way you gain weight really, really quickly. So you actually ideally would go up a weight class, because it's easier to gain weight than it is to shred weight within 10 days. It's not easy either way, but one's easier than the other. And he completely does this in the span of 10 days, which just makes no sense to me, in one of the coolest ways possible. So 10 days, he does it, and he still wins first round by the ref calling it off. It's not like he knocked the person out. It's not like he pinned and had a submission. It was just this aggressive takedown, and the ref had to step in and say, like, no, bad, not doing that. So really cool guy, really fun. I'm excited to kind of watch his journey a little bit more. Next one is the fact that it is July 31st, and I have a lot of really cool plans for August, both professionally and, family-oriented wise, and so I'm just really excited. As much as July has been kind of an interesting month for me, I'm actually extremely excited for what August is going to be giving. So I'm really excited for tomorrow, and I'm really excited for everything going forward. So thank you, July, for, being as unique as you have been, and let's go kick August's ass. So, haha. Number 5. And this is going into the idea of complicated situations in my work. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I mentioned in the first time that I ever uploaded one of these that there are going to be instances where I write down things that I'm grateful for that may divulge a little bit too much about someone else. And if it's really positive and awesome, then sure, I'm going to bring it up if it's not going to make them feel embarrassed. But when there's, a little bit too much of a gray area in whether or not I'd want them to know that I'm talking about them at all, I'm not really going to bring it up. This is a very minor exception to that, and I'm not going to go into any detail on it. But point is that I've been dealing with a situation in my profession right now that has caused an influx of stress and influx of just turmoil and anxiety. And so it's early, so you're getting the sleepy face of just like, ugh. Very difficult situations that I've been dealing with as a result of this baggage that I've been holding, and this thing that I've been having to deal with and manage, and it has not been easy, and it is very professional, and so I had to make the very professional call of saying, is this worth it affecting the rest of my business, or should I cut the cord and sort of just say, yes, I'm going to take the minor hit now, so that way it doesn't become a big hit to my business later. And so I had to make that call. And it was a really rough call, and it wasn't something that was super easy to make, but I did it, and it's helped quite a bit. And so I've still been dealing with repercussions of that big hit, or that minor hit, before it became a big hit. But the fact that I'm still dealing with minor repercussions from things that occurred from it shows that if I had let it keep going, things could have gotten really bad. And so I just put down for number 5, unloading weight, unloading baggage, unloading stress, and kind of letting me just kind of keep moving forward instead of staying in one place, just that way I can deal with one situation. And I'm never big on giving up, but I think it was really important that I say this is an unwinning situation, and I can sit here and do everything in the world and it's not going to change anything. And I still did. It was one of those situations where, going back to one of the quotes that my mentor told me a long time ago, if you do everything that you can, then no one can say you didn't do everything that you could. And so I quite literally just dedicated a few days to throwing everything at this situation, saying, look, if it's going to work, then it's going to work now, because there's nothing else that I can do that will change the situation from this point onward. And it didn't change. And so I had to make that gut call. I had to make that judgment call, and I'm glad that I did it. And did it feel good doing it? Not really, but it does feel good now that it's wrapping up. So that's it. That's 5 things that we're really grateful for starting our morning off. I really appreciate everyone who's watched. I already said this at the beginning of the video, but I want to hear what you guys are grateful for, big or small. Actually, one thing, if you got this far, I'll see the difference. I brought up something that's really different about me, where I'm really nerdy, but I have one cool aspect about me, one masculine aspect about me that's different from some of the stuff that I usually like. What's one thing that you're really grateful for, or you really enjoy, that people would be shocked to find out that you enjoy? That's what I want to know. What's the thing that you really, really love doing, or love watching, or love experiencing, that if you just told people about it, people wouldn't be upset about it, but they would be like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Stephanie's not like that usually. Oh, I didn't realize Josh would really enjoy these things. I want to hear that. That's really cool. I want to see or read or hear whatever those things are. That's a really cool gratitude that I'd love to hear. And it lets me know if you've watched to the end, because that's a different request than whenever I had at the beginning. So let me know. I will talk to you guys later, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks so much. Bye.